Damian Lillard reportedly doesn't believe the Blazers have enough to win the NBA championship this year, and I totally agree. Even though the team made far more improvements along the roster than what I expected them to do, it's pretty much been the exact scenario that I outlined in my eulogy of the Blazers once they were officially eliminated from playoff contention last year. The scenario where they just didn't have enough cap room or assets to either sign or trade for anyone that was really going to move the needle or change the Blazers' destiny. That being said, they were able to add some really nice pieces. They got Jeremy Grant for basically nothing, a really versatile defender who showed in his stint with Detroit that he has some aptitude for shot creation. They also get Gary Payton II, fresh off of his championship run with the Warriors as a defensive specialist. They draft Shaden Sharp, who has a really high ceiling as a shot maker, but I think it's going to be a few years before he really starts to tap into his potential. He didn't play any college basketball last year, so it's really similar to the James Wiseman Warriors situation. I think they're going to have to be really patient with Sharp. It's just super hard to go from high school to the NBA with a year off of basketball in between. They're also able to bring back Yusef Nurkic, who's become a bit underrated as a center and a post scorer. They also re signed Anthony Simons, who isn't quite a household name yet, but he is an insanely good catch and shoot guy and a stellar athlete. I think without question, he's going to be able to fill the missing hole left by CJ McCollum. So, having said all of that, 39 and a half wins, I think I'm going to take the over here. I expect this team to make the plan. I can't see them getting an actual playoff spot, and nor do I see them advancing past the play-in, but I think they're pretty much a lock for the 10th seed. If you look at the West standings from last year, the Jazz and the Spurs are most certainly dropping out of those top 10 seeds. Then there's two teams that finish below the Blazers out west, the Thunder and Rockets. They're not hiding the fact that they're tanking. So they're almost assuredly not going to be in the mix. So that leaves the Blazers, the Lakers, and the Kings for those final two spots within the top 10. And given how good Dame is and how solid the surrounding roster is here, I would take them over the Kings without question. I know that's still a tough pill to swallow for Dame fans, especially when you compare this year's team to the 2019 Blazers group that made the conference finals. This year's team is just undoubtedly better on paper. In 2019, you had the usual suspects, Dame, CJ, and Nurk, but with surrounding pieces like Mo Harkless, Al-Farouq Aminu, Seth Curry, Enes Kanter, now Enes Freedom, no doubt in my mind, I'm taking this year's supporting cast over them with the guys like Jeremy Grant, Gary Payton II, Josh Hart, and Sear Little. It's not even a debate between them and that 2019 group. But the problem is the league is just so much more balanced now and just overall much more talented from top to bottom. Even the bad teams nowadays have interesting pieces and a lot of talent. And unfortunately, this is just what I see for the foreseeable future for the Blazers. A fringe play in team, a first round exit here and there. And with Dame turning 32, he likely has a year or two left, maybe, if any, of prime Dame time basketball. So while I agreed with Damian Lillard at the beginning of the video that the team doesn't have enough to win a title, I don't really understand why he would put that out there. Is it his way of telling the organization that they haven't done enough yet? What else would he like them to do in that case? Sure, they've made some mistakes last season, for instance. I really am still not sure why they just gave CJ McCollum away at the deadline versus waiting until the offseason to get a better deal with for him, given that he was under contract. They kind of just gave away Robert Covington and Norman Powell also. I was also a big proponent of them trading Nurkic since he isn't really a great fit for a team with two defensive liability guards, and also since he was on an expiring contract. But even in a scenario where last season the front office made all the right moves and hit all the right buttons, I still don't see any way that they would be anything near a title contender. So I guess both Dame and this organization have a really tough decision to make. For Portland, it's probably in their best interest to hit the reset button around Simons and Sharp. And then on the Dame side, it's probably best to use whatever little prime he has left in pursuit of a championship. But that may not be what either side chooses to do. I'm totally fine with them taking the sentimental route and having like this extended farewell tour with Dame and maybe a few fun playoff moments here and there. I'm fine with the Blazers and Dame choosing to do that, but let's not pretend that it's anything it's not. Separating is going to be the quickest path to a championship for the Blazers, and it's the only path to a championship for Dame. So both parties here just really need to decide what's important to them.